Chosen one, stop scrolling. This is not background noise. This is a wake-up call, a warning wrapped in mercy. But still a warning, because staying asleep now has a cost you can no longer afford to pay. You already know this. You feel it in the repetition of your days, in the cycles that keep replaying like a broken record, in the quiet frustration that whispers. There has to be more than this. You are not tired because you are weak. You are tired because you have been delaying obedience. Listen carefully, and this is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. You have mastered survival, but heaven did not create you merely to survive. You learned how to endure disappointment, how to adapt to loss, how to smile while carrying unanswered prayers. But endurance without direction becomes stagnation. And stagnation is the danger zone for a chosen life. The longer you stay asleep, the easier it becomes to confuse comfort with calling. The easier it becomes to accept cycles as destiny. The easier it becomes to say, tomorrow, when God said, now. This message is not gentle because the season is no longer gentle. You have been warned before through delays, disruptions, closed doors, and restless nights. Each one was a knock. Each one was mercy saying, wake up before you lose more time. But you kept pushing obedience forward, thinking delay was neutral. It is not. Delay is a decision, and decisions have consequences. You are not like the rest. That is why distraction hits you harder. That is why confusion tries to settle in your mind when you get close to clarity. That is why cycles repeat only until you learn what they were sent to teach. Heaven does not waste pain, but darkness uses delay. And right now, the greatest threat to your calling is not attack, it is sleep. Wake up! Because every time you ignore conviction, sensitivity dulls. Every time you silence the inner nudge, discernment weakens. Not all judgment looks like punishment. Sometimes it looks like God stepping back and allowing you to keep choosing what you insist on choosing. Mercy warns before it withdraws. Grace calls before it corrects. And right now, you are hearing the call. You have felt the tension rising, and old methods no longer work. Old escapes no longer satisfy. The things that once distracted you feel empty. That is not depression, that is exposure. The covering is lifting, the fog is thinning, and the truth is coming into focus whether you are ready or not. This is the moment heaven interrupts your routine. You cannot keep asking God for clarity while refusing alignment. You cannot keep praying for breakthrough while clinging to habits that keep you bound. Obedience delayed becomes obedience denied. And the cost of staying asleep is always higher than the cost of waking up. Sleep costs you time. Sleep costs you authority. Sleep costs you momentum. And for chosen ones, wasted time is the most expensive currency of all. You were not preserved to remain passive. You were not protected to remain silent. You were not awakened spiritually just to go back to sleep emotionally. Something is being required of you now. A decision, a surrender, a separation. And yes, it will cost you something, but disobedience will cost you more. Hear this clearly, don't do it. No matter the price, don't go back to what God already pulled you out of. Don't numb yourself again. Don't minimize this moment. Because this moment will not repeat itself the same way twice. Heaven is patient, but moments are not. The warning is not that God is angry. The warning is that time is moving. You are standing at the edge of revelation, and revelation always demands response. When truth arrives, neutrality expires. There is no middle ground between awakening and drifting. You either rise or you repeat. You either obey or you orbit the same lesson again, older, more tired, and more frustrated. And this is why the alarm is sounding now, as the prophet Elijah spoke, as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions if the Lord is God? Follow him. That question is not ancient. It is present tense. How long will you waver? How long will you hesitate at the door of obedience? How long will you sense the call but negotiate the terms? God is not asking for perfection. He is asking for decision. He is not asking for strength. He is asking for surrender. This is your wake-up call, chosen one. The cycles end when obedience begins. The fog lifts when alignment happens. The heaviness breaks when you stop resisting what you already know. You are not meant to live half awake, spiritually aware, but practically disobedient. That tension is unsustainable. Something has to give. Let it be the sleep. If this message is reaching you, it is because mercy is still speaking. The door is not shut yet. Conviction is a gift, but gifts must be received. This is the moment to respond, not tomorrow, not after one more delay, not when it feels easier. Wake up now. If you hear this warning and choose obedience, mark this moment, like this message. Share it with someone who needs the alarm. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next, and comment 77 below as a sign that you are awake, aware, and ready to move when God speaks. You were not hidden by accident. What felt like delay was actually design. What looked like exclusion was protection. You mistook the silence for absence. But heaven was never absent. Heaven was strategic. There are truths too heavy to be handed to an unprepared vessel. And there are callings too costly to be revealed before character is formed. So you were hidden, not forgotten, not overlooked. Hidden. You wondered why doors opened for others while yours stayed shut. You questioned why your path seemed slower, lonelier, more demanding. But hiding is not punishment for the chosen, it is preparation. Exposure too early would have crushed you. Applause too soon would have corrupted you. The weight of what you carry required depth before display. In the hidden seasons, God worked on what people would never clap for: your discernment, your endurance, your ability to stand alone without bitterness. While others were being celebrated, you were being strengthened. While others were being seen, you were being sealed. Heaven does not rush what it intends to last. You were hidden because you needed to learn obedience without validation. You needed to obey when no one noticed, to stay faithful when no reward followed immediately, to trust God's voice without confirmation from the crowd. This is where most fail. Many want the calling, but few survive the concealment that precedes it. The hidden place exposes motives. It strips you of false identities. It confronts you with yourself. That is why it felt uncomfortable. That is why you were tempted to quit, to blend in, to settle for something smaller and more manageable. But every time you stayed, something was built inside you that could not be built in public. You learned restraint. You learned silence. You learned how to hear God without noise. You learned how to carry unanswered questions without losing faith. You learned how to forgive without apology. These were not delays. These were investments. You were hidden because your discernment needed sharpening. If you had risen too soon, you would have trusted the wrong people, aligned with the wrong voices, and exposed yourself to unnecessary harm. God hid you until your eyes could see beyond charisma, beyond words, beyond appearances. Now you can recognize truth by resonance, not volume. You were hidden because your heart needed purifying. Ambition had to die. Ego had to be confronted. The desire to be seen had to be replaced with the desire to be obedient. That transformation does not happen in the spotlight. It happens in obscurity where there is no incentive to pretend. You were hidden because what you carry threatens systems built on deception. Truth disrupts comfort. Light exposes carefully maintained darkness. If you had spoken too early, you would have been silenced, labeled, or dismissed before your authority was established. Timing matters in heaven. Revelation released too soon becomes weaponized against the one who carries it. So God waited, and while you waited, He worked. There were moments you thought you were behind, but spiritually, you were being positioned ahead. There were seasons you felt unchosen, but in reality, you were being set apart. There is a difference. Those who are merely talented are rushed forward. Those who are anointed are processed. Hidden seasons are where false dependencies break, where you learn that God is enough even when outcomes are uncertain, where your faith stops being borrowed and becomes personal. You no longer believe because others believe, you believe because you have encountered Him in the quiet. This is why you could not explain your journey to others. They did not walk your path. They did not endure your pruning. They did not survive your nights. And they were not meant to. Some roads are solitary by design. You were hidden until you could carry truth without arrogance and authority without cruelty, until you could speak without needing approval, until you could stand firm without becoming rigid. These qualities are forged, not gifted, according to what is revealed in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3 on verse 1. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Your hidden season had a time, and that time is not endless, but it was necessary. Because now, when truth is revealed, it will not destabilize you. When clarity arrives, it will not intoxicate you. When responsibility comes, it will not overwhelm you. You are beginning to see why it had to be this way. Why the silence? Why the waiting? Why the separation? The truth you are about to walk in requires roots, not just wings. And roots only grow in the dark. The hidden season did not delay your destiny, it protected it. Truth is not light, it is weight. And now you are beginning to feel it press against your spirit. This is the part few talk about, because carrying truth is costly long before it is glorious. Revelation does not arrive to comfort you. It arrives to commission you, and commissioning always begins with pressure. When truth entered your life, it did not simply inform you, it separated you. Conversations changed, relationships shifted. Certain environments began to feel intolerable, not because you became arrogant, but because alignment changed your appetite. You could no longer pretend. You could no longer agree just to keep peace. And that cost you familiarity. Truth isolates before it elevates. You discovered that knowing more meant being able to tolerate less. Less hypocrisy, less compromise, less self-deception. Truth sharpened your discernment, but it also sharpened your loneliness. Because once you see clearly, you cannot unsee. Once you know, you are responsible. Ignorance may be costly, but knowledge is demanding. This is the price of carrying truth. You lose the ability to blend in. You noticed how silence followed your honesty, how rooms grew tense when you spoke plainly, how people who once applauded you now avoided depth with you. Truth exposes what people are hiding, and not everyone wants to be seen. So they withdraw. They label you intense. They say you've changed. They are right, you have. Truth also cost you internal comfort. You could no longer excuse behaviors you once tolerated in yourself. Conviction became sharper. Choices became heavier. because truth does not allow partial obedience. It demands alignment in private, not just words in public. This is where many retreat, not because they don't love God, but because the weight feels unfair. You asked, why me? Why you had to see what others don't? Why you had to carry insight that complicates life instead of simplifying it? But heaven never gives truth to punish, it gives truth to position. You are learning that truth makes you a target, not of people alone, but of systems that thrive on blindness. Lies are comfortable. Truth is disruptive, and disruption always invites resistance. That is why confusion tried to surround you when clarity increased. That is why fatigue spiked when resolve strengthened. This is not accidental. It is warfare at the level of awareness. But hear this clearly, the weight you feel is not meant to crush you, it is meant to anchor you. Truth without grounding produces pride. Truth with grounding produces authority, and authority is forged under pressure. You are being trained to carry revelation without reaction, insight without impatience, clarity without contempt. These qualities are expensive. They cost misunderstanding. They cost isolation. They cost the false sense of belonging you once had. There were moments you wanted to give the truth back, to unknow what you now know, to return to simpler thinking, to re-enter the crowd, but that door is closed, not because God is cruel, but because growth cannot be reversed without damage. Once eyes open, they do not shut cleanly again. The cost of carrying truth is not optional, but neither is the calling attached to it. You are being trusted, not with answers alone, but with restraint, with timing, with silence when silence is wiser than speech, with courage when silence becomes cowardice. This balance is learned, not taught, and you are learning it now. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 32, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." But freedom does not mean ease. Freedom means responsibility without illusion. Freedom means you cannot blame ignorance anymore. Freedom means you must choose integrity even when it costs you convenience. This is the kind of freedom few are prepared for. You are. That is why truth came to you when it did. Not earlier because you would have misused it. Not later because delay would have weakened your resolve. The timing is precise. Heaven never releases weight without building capacity first. If you feel tired, it is because you are carrying something real. If you feel different, it is because you are. If you feel set apart, it is because truth naturally separates what cannot coexist. Light and darkness do not negotiate. They reveal. Do not resent the cost. Costs confirm value. You are not being punished, you are being entrusted. And because truth must be acknowledged, not hidden. I want you to seal this moment with a response not for visibility, but for alignment. Comment the phrase, "I choose truth" below. This is not about the words themselves, but about what follows them. By writing it, you are declaring that you accept the weight, the cost, and the responsibility of what has been revealed, and that you will not trade clarity for comfort again. There is a moment when truth stops being abstract and becomes painfully personal. This is that moment. Because revelation does not only expose systems and people around you, it exposes you. And nothing reveals the heart faster than the requirement to obey simply. The scriptures give us a mirror in the story of Naaman, not as a distant lesson, but as a living pattern you are now walking through. Naaman was powerful, decorated, respected. A commander who won battles and carried honor in public. From the outside, he lacked nothing except one hidden weakness: leprosy, a silent condition eating away beneath the armor. And that is how pride often works. It survives in high places. It hides behind success. It convinces you that because you are accomplished, you must also be aligned. Naaman had access, influence, and resources, but none of those could heal him. So when word reached him that there was a prophet in Israel who carried healing, he moved forward with confidence, not humility confidence. He arrived prepared to impress. He brought gifts. He brought letters. He brought expectation of recognition. And this is where the test began. Naaman expected God to heal him on his terms. He imagined the prophet coming out personally, calling on God dramatically, waving a hand, making the miracle visible and dignified. He expected a method that matched his status. But heaven does not respond to rank. Heaven responds to obedience. Instead of ceremony, Naaman received instruction. Simple, almost insulting in its simplicity. No applause, no acknowledgement, just a command that challenged his pride. Wash, dip, obey. And this offended him, because the greatest threat to healing is not disease, it is arrogance. Naaman was willing to travel, willing to pay, willing to be seen seeking help, but he was not willing to obey in a way that felt beneath him. His pride almost cost him his breakthrough. This is where many chosen ones struggle. You will go far. You will sacrifice much. You will endure hardship. But when God asks you to obey simply quietly without recognition, that is where resistance rises. Naaman nearly walked away healedless, not because God lacked power, but because Naaman lacked surrender. It took servants' voices without rank to remind him of truth. If the instruction had been difficult, he would have done it. If it had required effort that showcased strength, he would have complied. But it required humility. And humility always confronts identity. Finally, Naaman yielded, not partially, fully. He dipped 7 times, not 6, not once, 7. Complete obedience. And only after the final act of simple obedience did transformation occur. This is the pattern you are in now. God is not asking you to do something impressive. He is asking you to do something obedient, something quiet, something that does not announce itself, something that may even feel too small for the weight you carry. But heaven is not testing your ability. It is testing your heart. You have been waiting for clarity, but clarity follows obedience, not the other way around. You have been waiting for confirmation, but confirmation often comes after the step, not before it. Naaman was not healed on the shore. He was healed in the water after repeated submission. Pride does not always look like arrogance. Sometimes it looks like overthinking. Sometimes it looks like negotiating. Sometimes it looks like saying, "Surely God would do it another way," but obedience is not creative. It is responsive. The story reaches its turning point when Naaman humbles himself enough to trust instruction over image. And that is when healing becomes inevitable. As was recorded in the 2nd book of Kings, chapter 5, verse 14. So he went down and dipped himself in the Jordan 7 times, as the man of God had told him, and his flesh was restored and became clean like that of a young boy. Notice what healed him. Not the river's reputation, not the prophet's presence, not Naaman's effort, obedience. You are not blocked. You are being invited lower into humility, into simplicity, into alignment. The scales falling from your eyes are not only about seeing deception in the world, but about recognizing subtle resistance within yourself. This is not condemnation. This is correction wrapped in mercy. When you obey simply, healing follows naturally. When you stop demanding God move in ways that preserve your pride, breakthrough accelerates. When you release the need to be seen as strong, God reveals His strength through you. This is why this message matters. This is why sharing it matters. Because many are still stuck at the riverbank close to healing but unwilling to step in. If this story resonates with you, let it reach someone else who is hesitating in the same place. Like this message, share it with intention. And if you haven't yet, subscribe not out of habit, but out of hunger to stay aligned with what God is revealing in this season. You are closer than you think. The water is waiting. There is a kind of delay that feels spiritual. It sounds responsible. It dresses itself in logic. It quotes patience and calls it wisdom. But underneath, it is still delay. And for the chosen one, delay disguised as wisdom is one of the most dangerous traps you will face. You are not dealing with blatant disobedience anymore. You have matured past that. What you are facing now is hesitation refined, postponement that feels justified, waiting that feels holy. And that is why it is so deceptive. This is where practical discernment becomes essential. The first instruction is this: learn to recognize the difference between waiting on God and avoiding obedience. Waiting on God brings peace, even when nothing moves. Avoiding obedience brings restlessness, even when everything seems calm. One anchors you, the other quietly drains you. Ask yourself honestly, when you delay the thing you feel prompted to do, does peace increase or does tension linger? Wisdom aligns you, delay fragments you. The second instruction is to examine your language. Delay often hides behind spiritual vocabulary. Phrases like, "I'm still praying about it," "I need more confirmation," or "I'm waiting for the right timing" can be valid, but only if God has actually told you to wait, if clarity has already come and action has not followed. Those phrases are not wisdom, they are shields. God rarely speaks twice about the same instruction. When he repeats himself, it is usually because resistance is present. The third instruction is to observe patterns. Delay loves repetition. You will notice that the same opportunity, the same nudge, the same conviction keeps returning, only heavier each time. That is not confusion. That is mercy giving you space to respond before consequence replaces invitation. Practical obedience often looks unimpressive. It may involve a conversation you've avoided, a habit you've postponed changing, a step that feels too small to matter. That is why the mind resists it. Pride prefers complexity. Fear prefers delay, but heaven prefers response. The fourth instruction is to separate counsel from consensus. Wisdom welcomes counsel. Delay waits for agreement. If you require everyone to understand before you obey, you will remain stuck. Many of the steps God asks you to take will not make sense to people who are not assigned to your calling. Confirmation is not the same as permission. The fifth instruction is to pay attention to urgency without panic. God's urgency is calm but firm. It does not shout, but it does not fade. It persists. Panic-driven urgency pressures you. God-driven urgency aligns you. Learn the difference. One exhausts you. The other strengthens you. Now here is the clearest test of all. When obedience is mentioned, does your spirit lean forward or pull back? That internal reaction tells the truth faster than logic ever will. Delay disguised as wisdom often feels like protection. But over time, it produces stagnation. You stay informed but inactive, aware but unchanged. And eventually, conviction dulls. Not because God stops speaking, but because the soul grows accustomed to postponement. This is where danger quietly enters. Because the more you delay what you already know, the harder it becomes to recognize what you will need to know next. Revelation is progressive. Obedience unlocks the next instruction. Delay interrupts the sequence. You don't need more insight, you need alignment. You don't need a louder voice, you need a faster response. You don't need certainty about outcomes. You need faithfulness to instruction. The wisdom you are seeking is often hidden inside the step you are avoiding. As the ancient words recorded in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5, still echo today, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. God does not require recklessness, but He does require trust. So here is the practical application. Identify one instruction you have delayed under the banner of wisdom. Just one, not everything. One, bring it into clarity. Name it honestly and decide not emotionally, but intentionally that delay ends here. You are not late, but you are at risk of becoming comfortable. And comfort is the enemy of calling. If this instruction resonates, if you recognize yourself in this mirror, mark this moment with a response. Comment 999 below. Not as a ritual, but as a signal to yourself that cycles are ending, hesitation is breaking, and obedience is no longer postponed. You are not imagining the shift. Something has changed around you, not just within you. Attention has followed alignment. Resistance has followed clarity. This is not coincidence, it is consequence. When a chosen one moves closer to truth, visibility increases in both realms. Heaven watches with intent, darkness watches with concern. And that is why pressure intensifies right before release. You are marked, not with noise, not with spectacle, but with distinction. There is a signature on your life that does not fade, a weight in your presence that cannot be explained by personality or effort. That is why certain people react to you without understanding why. That is why opposition arises in subtle ways, misunderstandings, delays, distractions, internal weariness that seems disproportionate to circumstances. You are not being punished. You are being noticed. Being marked does not mean being famous, and it means being recognized in the unseen. It means your obedience has registered. Your separation has been acknowledged. Your movement has disrupted something that depended on your silence. And now that you are no longer asleep, the environment responds. This is where discernment must mature. Not every obstacle is resistance. Not every difficulty is attack. Some are training. Some are pruning. Some are simply the friction of growth. But there is a kind of opposition that feels personal, targeted, strategic. It is not loud. It is persistent. It seeks to exhaust rather than frighten, to distract rather than destroy, to delay rather than deny. That is the kind you are facing now. You may notice old temptations resurfacing, not because you desire them, but because they once worked. You may notice sudden doubts questioning clarity you already received. You may feel an unusual urge to disengage, to isolate, to go quiet, not out of peace, but out of fatigue. These are not random experiences, they are responses. Darkness does not waste energy on what poses no threat. But here is what you must understand. Being targeted is not a sign of vulnerability. It is a sign of value. You do not protect what is worthless. You do not monitor what is irrelevant. Attention follows impact. At the same time, heaven is watching you more closely than ever, not to catch you failing, but to cover you while you mature. There is a difference between exposure and oversight. You are under oversight. You are being measured for trust, not with perfection, but with consistency. This is why restraint matters now. Reaction would weaken you. Discernment will strengthen you. Silence, when chosen wisely, will protect momentum. You are learning when to speak and when to move quietly. This is not retreat, it is strategy. You are also learning that not everyone who walks with you can go where you are going. This separation may feel sudden, but it is necessary. Some people were assigned to your preparation, not your promotion. Holding on out of loyalty can become disobedience when seasons shift. Being marked means being misread by those who cannot see what heaven sees. There will be moments when you feel watched and misunderstood at the same time. When motives are questioned. When intentions are assumed. This is part of refinement. Authority that cannot endure misunderstanding is not ready for influence. So you are being strengthened internally. Your emotional reactions are being disciplined. Your need for validation is being loosened. Your dependence on affirmation is being replaced with quiet confidence. These changes are not accidental. They are armor. Because visibility without armor is dangerous. You are not meant to fight everyone. You are not meant to correct every false perception. You are not meant to explain your obedience to those who were never meant to understand it. Discernment tells you where to invest energy and where to conserve it. This is spiritual intelligence. As the prophet wrote in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn." You are being trained to stand without striving. Being marked also means being protected, but protection does not always look like comfort. Sometimes it looks like delay that keeps you from harm. Sometimes it looks like unanswered prayers that would have exposed you too soon. Sometimes it looks like tension that forces you to lean deeper into God rather than outward into approval. You are watched, yes, but you are also covered. And being targeted does not mean you are losing, it means you are advancing into territory that was previously uncontested. Territory does not resist until it is threatened. Stay steady. Do not rush. Do not retreat. Do not explain yourself into exhaustion. You are not alone in this season. You are being accompanied, instructed, and guarded. The pressure you feel is not meant to break you, it is meant to focus you. And it will not last forever. This is the unveiling, not the kind announced by applause, but the kind recognized by authority. You are not stepping forward to be admired, you are stepping forward because heaven has decided you are ready to be trusted. What was hidden is now authorized. What was restrained is now released, and what was forming in silence now carries weight. You are not becoming someone new. You are becoming visible as who you already were. For a long time, you sensed that timing mattered more than talent, that preparation mattered more than speed, that obedience mattered more than exposure. Now you understand why. Because unveiling without authorization creates chaos. But unveiling after formation creates impact. You are not rushing into this moment. You are arriving. Crown does not mean elevated above others, it means marked with responsibility. Crowns in the kingdom are not ornaments, they are assignments. They signal burden before they signal honor. And you would not be here if you had not proven that you can carry weight without corruption. The crown comes after the wilderness, after restraint, after humility, after obedience that no one saw. You are stepping into a season where your presence speaks before your words, where discernment replaces explanation, where alignment attracts alignment. You no longer need to announce who you are. Fruit will do that for you. This does not mean resistance disappears. It means resistance loses leverage. Because when authority is internal, opposition becomes external noise instead of internal confusion. You are no longer tossed by opinions. You are no longer driven by urgency that is not yours. You move when heaven moves, and that steadiness is power. You are also learning that being crowned does not isolate you, it positions you. It clarifies who can walk with you and who cannot. Not out of judgment, but out of assignment. Different seasons require different companions. This is not loss. This is alignment. There is also a deeper peace settling in you now. Not because everything is resolved, but because you are resolved. You are no longer negotiating your obedience. You are no longer delaying your response. You have accepted that your life is not your own in the way it once was, and that acceptance has freed you. This is the paradox of calling surrender produces authority. You are beginning to see forward, not just outward. Your decisions now ripple beyond you. Your obedience opens paths for others you may never meet. Your restraint blocks harm you will never know you avoided. This is why precision matters now. This is why character continues to matter even after promotion. The crown does not end the process, it confirms it. And heaven does not crown those who crave recognition. Heaven crowns those who fear misalignment more than obscurity. You have proven that, again and again, quietly, faithfully, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of Esther, chapter 4, verse 14. And who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? This is not poetic, it is precise. Such a time as this when truth must be carried without compromise. Such a time as this when discernment must outpace emotion. Such a time as this when clarity must replace comfort. You are not here to echo what has already been said. You are here to embody what must now be demonstrated. And demonstration requires presence, not noise. So move forward steadily. Do not rush to prove anything. Do not shrink to preserve peace. Walk with the confidence of someone who knows they were sent, not summoned by popularity. If this message has walked with you through these sections, if it has sharpened your clarity and strengthened your resolve, let it continue its work beyond you. A quiet like, an intentional share, or a decision to subscribe is not about a channel, it is about staying connected to what is aligning you in this season. You are unveiled now, not exposed authorized, not elevated assigned, not finished released. Stand tall, walk forward, carry it well. You are not being rushed out of this moment. Let it settle. Let the words echo where they need to echo. Revelation does not always demand an immediate response. Sometimes it asks for stillness, for reflection, for quiet agreement between you and God. What matters now is not what you say publicly, but what you do privately. The direction has been given. The weight has been felt. The clarity has arrived, and what comes next will unfold step by step, not all at once. That is how alignment protects you from overwhelm. You do not need to convince anyone of what has been revealed to you. Truth has its own gravity. It draws what belongs and repels what does not. Your task is not to manage outcomes, but to remain faithful in motion, steady, attentive, and responsive. Some will hear this and move immediately. Others will sit with it longer. Both are allowed. What is not optional is honesty with God and with yourself. If this message stays with you, let it. If it passes through you and continues on to someone else, that is fine too. Nothing here needs to be forced. Light works best when it is not pushed. The path ahead will reveal itself as you walk it.